On 10/26/2020, October 26th, which is Monday, this is what we did in class. So we shared our observations from our observing the moon homework. We looked at differences, similarities, and why we think that might happen. We continued in our PowerPoint presentation looking at the moon's movement in the sky. We also started our student notes. And we wrapped up by introducing the Modeling the Lunar Phases project. At the end of today's lesson, students will be able to explain how the moon moves in the sky in relation to the Earth and the Sun. Since humans have walked the Earth, we've stared at the changing moon with wonder. But what really causes the appearance of the moon to change so drastically? Does it really disappear? Or is something else happening? Is there something else behind this phenomenon that has been continuing for thousands of years? The answer has to do with the position of not just the moon, but of the sun and the Earth as well. This phenomenon is also what causes eclipses, which we are going to talk about, and tides, which we already talked about. So as you are also continuing on in your student notes, pause the video to then go back into your student notes and finish up the question with the blank spaces. So there should be some blank spaces that correlate to this slide. Remember that the sun is the center of our solar system, and the Earth is revolving around the sun as the year goes by and rotates on its axis. And we defined revolving as what the Earth is doing here, going around a center object. Center object would be the sun. And rotating, we said, spins in place. And we had talked about how Earth's revolving around the sun is a year. And the rotation, every full rotation, is 1 day. At the same time, the moon is revolving around the Earth and rotating on its own axis, its own point where the moon is spinning in place, right? So the Earth goes around the sun, the moon goes around the Earth. And as the moon is revolving or orbiting around the Earth, it is also spinning in place, just like the Earth. The moon revolves around the Earth approximately every 28 days. So that means 1 moon year is equal to 28 Earth days. Its rotation is also approximately 28 Earth days. So 1 day on the moon is also equal to 28 Earth days. So the same side of the moon is always facing the Earth because the moon year and the moon day are exactly the same length of time. And you'll also see this visually represented on this slide with the flags. The flag represents the far side of the moon. Even as the moon revolves and rotates, the far side is always unseen by Earth. In class, we watched this video that explains why we never see the dark side of the moon. And it also talked about how the moon might have been formed, what's so different between the dark side and the side that we see, and some of the ideas of what's going on, right? And it also talked about and showed some pictures when telescopes and satellites were sent out into space to specifically take snapshots and pictures of the dark side, because before that, we had never seen it before.